recording.
Amazing.
Lotus, how are we?
I'm fantastic. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming along.
Oh.
Oh, why does this sound really super loud?
Is it meant to be that loud?
No, maybe I just need to like quieten my voice or something. I don't know if I can do that. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. So I'm a professional dominatrix.
Yep.
I'm a tantra and conscious sexuality practitioner.
Yeah.
I am an educator and a speaker. And yeah, there's so many things. I'm a manifesting generator. I don't know if you're into human design.
I am. You're a manifesting generator.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So known for having multiple like endeavors and hobbies, and everything's being undertaken at the same time.
It's kind of a little bit like me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is fucking.
It sounds
this
weird.
Is super loud. Hey.
It does sound a little bit maybe tinny.
That's a little bit better? I think that's a little bit better. I think I accidentally dialed some knobs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. So it's a little bit like me because I got so many projects going on at the same time. It's kind of sometimes really annoying because I'm like, I just need more things to like happen.
Mm-hmm.
Have you always been like that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I've always had so many different things going on.
Where did you grow up? Like here in Melbourne?
Yeah,
or?
I grew up here in Melbourne in the eastern suburbs. So you can take the girl out of the eastern suburbs, but you can't take the eastern suburbs out of the girl. It's something that I have learnt. No, it's
as in like Ringwood?
Yes.
How did I pick Ringwood?
You knew. See, that's what I mean. Exactly. See, it's like it's an energy. So Ringwood, kind of Warrandyte,
Warrandyte's
Park,
nice.
like this. We moved around a lot, but in this kind of area. So classic kind of middle class family.
Yeah,
moved around, very kind of open minded family. But
I mean,
here in Melbourne.
what's fucking middle class now? Really?
Yeah,
I think the range is so wide.
it is. Yeah, it is.
So you moved around a lot in like the eastern suburbs. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I do, yes. I have an older brother, older sister, and two younger sisters.
Oh, so you're kind of the middle child?
Of this batch, I like to say. Are you the same?
Of this batch, yeah. I mean, for 6 whole years, I was the youngest child, and then my brother came along.
Okay.
He's kind of, look, same mother and father, but I kind of feel like he's part of a different family.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And so what was it like growing up with so many siblings?
I loved it. I mean, I felt like it's really added a lot of richness into my ability to kind of get along with lots of different kinds of people.
Yeah.
To be able, I love group experience. Like, this is why I love facilitating group and like group experiences, whether it is out in the bush or at an event in a temple. So I think being always in a little pod, a big family, that feels comfortable for me.
But then like moving around a lot, like were you going to the same school or like different schools when you were like moving?
Yeah, same school.
Right, okay.
But changed schools from year 9 and then in year 10 I went to Box Hill Senior.
Yep. That would have been a eye-opener.
Yes, it was. It was a tech school.
Hill. Oh, tech school.
Yeah. So it wasn't Box Hill High. It was Box Hill Senior. So it was actually had like amazing music and sport. And so I went there for basketball because I was like a massive jock when I was a teenager.
Hang on. Basketball?
Now
know. You're speaking my language.
Yeah, that was my jam. That was my thing.
I
was really into basketball.
What position?
I was a bit of everything. I was a bit of like
the all-rounder.
Yeah, I was the all-rounder.
That means you could jump.
Yeah, I could jump. I was fast. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. But then I injured my knees. So I got split cartilage in both of my knees. So
Oh shit! How
that
did
was
that
the
happen?
end of that. Unlucky. Like there was no specific event. It was just like, I don't
Just
know, wear and tear
over time.
from pushing it. I was playing for 3 basketball teams when I was like 15. It's like a bit outrageous.
Someone's an overachiever. I mean,
Poquito.
yeah, just a little bit. But I mean, I only played for I think it was like 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a little bit like Dennis Rodman. I just kept throwing my body around and to save the ball, and I dislocated my knee.
Okay, so there you go. It's massive for knee injuries, right?
Yeah, I dislocated my knee. I broke my nose. I tore all the ligaments and muscle off my thumb. Rolled ankles, you name it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's nothing, I think, when you're younger that compares to playing sport and being part of a team.
It's the best.
And just that hunger to, get better.
Mm-hmm.
So you went to Box Hill Senior to play basketball or to...
Yeah, to play. So they had a really well-known basketball program and footy. So people would come for sport or they'd come for music. They had a fashion thing. They had had all these really good, and also a pre-app for doing carpentry or electrical. So it was really bizarre, and there was no uniform. So it was like being in this weird land where you'd get these really, really strong characters in different categories.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
Isn't that such a fucking teenager thing to say? Oh, there's no uniform. It's weird. We're treated like human beings. But isn't that what society is supposed to be like? You're treated like human beings.
Literally.
And when you're a teenager, you're that's such a big thing to not have to wear a uniform. I don't know. And
it's so funny. And we called the teachers by their first names and everything. So it was, they were really wanting us to be, young adults. But it was quite cool.
Look at you now.
Look at me now. I still, a lot of people follow me from high school.
Oh,
it's
shit.
It's really funny. But they don't say anything. They just I can just see them watching my stories.
I get that all the time. These goddamn people watching my stories. Why don't you fucking say something?
Say something.
I know. I can feel the energy.
Send me a fire emoji or something.
I can feel the judgment. It's you know what? Whatever. There was
so funny.
There was something I saw the other day about how people are so reluctant to post stuff on social media and stuff like that because they're scared that it's not not curated or whatever. But the thing that it was saying was it's cringe. Everything's
cringe.
Everything's cringe. So just fucking post it.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Lean into the cringe.
You gotta lean.
The more cringe you are, the more free that you feel. Because you can just be your weird, kooky self, and then your weird, kooky people will appear out of the bushes and be your friends. And they're the ones that will follow you and support you.
Out of the bushes.
I'm just thinking about the Simpsons episode, how he goes into the bush.
Yes. Yes.
Everything in my brain is a Simpsons reference.
Is it?
Yeah.
We'll get onto that topic then. But I was what did I say to this random person at the cafe yesterday? I think she was coming up to pay a bill or something or other. And I thought she was talking to me, and we just started a conversation, and then I called her a stalker. And then I was like, yeah, I saw you outside my house in the bushes. She's like, yeah, that was me. And we just kept going.
I love that. It's so funny.
We just kept
I love
going.
people that can riff off like that and just go with the gag.
Yeah, you just got to go with it.
Just meet me on the level. Come on, I'm waiting.
And be open to the idea of this storyline that we're creating, and then have a laugh about it.
Yeah, it's like comedy improv.
Yeah. She was sitting down for lunch with her husband and her newborn, but you know, she was like, see you outside your bushes later.
I love this friend. I want her to be my friend now. She sounds great.
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't want to continue. Oh, so you had the injuries in
Had the
basketball.
injuries.
That's why you stopped.
It was a massive thing for me actually going through that, you know, because it was like I had this whole plan. I was going to move to this school and I was going to be like, I want to take this to the next level. I want to get into like state level and
Yeah.
this is going to be my thing that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then realized that my little domestic teams that I was playing for where I was the best was actually the ones that were on that really high level. Was like, okay, wow, I'm actually going to have to train. I can't just show up and be awesome.
Yes, you do have to train.
Have to train.
And is it? I'm sure that they would have it here. Like, there's a Friday night league, like a rep ball or something.
Rep ball, yeah,
yeah, and that's like a precursor into
yes,
like state. So you do good at like rep ball, and then next thing you know, you can try out for state, and they play Saturdays and Sundays or something.
yes,
like that, right?
yeah. That's from memory. I mean, this is like over 10 years ago.
It's over,
15.
It's over 25 years ago for me.
Yeah, it's a long time. But it was a big part of life, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like even when I hear the squeaks of the shoes on the court and the bouncing of the balls, it's like the nostalgia and like all the memories and how much I used to just absolutely froth on
like
the whole experience.
I had dreams of going to the US and playing in college and like all of this. And like at the time, my mum's boyfriend, partner, he was like right into basketball, and he'd like coach me and we'd like play one-on-one, like all this type of stuff, and he had connections, and then I was like fucking devastated when they broke up.
Oh no.
I was like, no.
Like, Mom, what are you doing?
You shattered my dreams.
My sweet hookup.
He was a croupier at the casino in Perth.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And he gave me my first motivational book that I really
Okay. What was it?
The Power of One.
Oh.
The Power of One.
Power of Now?
No, it's The Power of
I
One.
don't know The Power of One.
Hang on, I've got the audio book on my phone.
Hey, I love that you still have it in
because I
different form.
Freaking gave it to. He signed the copy that he gave me, and it was like happy birthday type thing.
That's pretty cool.
Sorry, I fucking got the name wrong.
Oh.
It's called The Psychology of Winning.
Oh, can I see the cover? I don't know if I know that one. Oh, okay.
And this whole Dennis Waitley. Yeah.
Dennis Waitley.
The Psychology of Winning. And like I read that book and I was just like, whoa.
Give us the synopsis, like the one sentence, like the juice.
Well, I guess it's all about perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can live your life thinking that things happen to you. And then you end up like having this like victim mentality, and you just continually going through life going, what's happening to me, like, you know, type thing. Or you flip it and you go, how am I going to make every single opportunity or every single experience that happens to me into a positive experience? And, you know, I guess it's this whole piece around turning negatives into positives. Like if a negative situation happens, the positive thing of it is that you've learnt something, you know, and just.
So it's not necessarily the experience of it is positive in the body, but it's that you're extracting the medicine. You're extracting the learning from it, which therefore is giving you a gain from it.
Correct.
Through, you know, whatever it is. It might be chaos or tragedy or stress or overwhelm or whatever it is.
And it's the learning also might not be obvious either.
Mm-hmm.
In that you may have to dive a little bit deeper into how you feel or your situation, your thought processes and how you can, I guess, reflect on how you operate. Because if you know how you operate, then you're going to know, well, you should know how you're going to react in certain situations.
Yes.
Like if you're a fiery person and someone cuts you off while you're driving, you're going to get road rage. So slow down. Otherwise you're going to have an accident.
Take a breath.
Yeah. But so he gave me this first book and I was like fascinated by it. And then I was like, then I had all this stuff happen in my life and I kept referring back to that book and just kept reading it. But an ex-partner, I gave it to her and she never gave it back.
That old chestnut.
Hence why I've got the audiobook.
All is not lost.
All is definitely not lost. So you had the injuries.
Yes.
And then what else were you going to do?
As in my life?
Yeah, your life.
Well, it actually got kind of dark from that point, if I'm honest. It kind of took a turn. So I got pretty heavily into drugs and just partying and just not going to school and kind of ended up hooking up with a bunch of people that weren't very good for me and my health. And that went on for a number of years. I kind of was in this really kind of lost phase. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I was so jealous of people that were like, I'm going to be a doctor. I was like, oh, damn those people. Like, I know my path. I'm going to be at uni for 7 years and and they knew everything. They had it all laid out. And I was like, oh my God, I just don't have that at all. I don't have any sense of direction. All I know is that I like having fun. So I'm just going to keep doing that.
I hear. I like having fun.
That's pretty much it. So I'm going to go to festivals and raves and find weird little underground car parks where there's parties and just get up to no good, basically.
Underground car parks. I feel, though, like when you're younger, the whole drug thing is like a rite of passage.
Yes, I mean, this is the problem with a culture that's devoid of any kind of rite of passage or initiation phase of being able to move from adolescent into adulthood, is that we initiate ourselves by finding the edges of society to initiate us. So whether that is through the doof scene or through the goth, becoming really goth or becoming really anarchy and like go skinhead, and then they kind of go into these really fringy places.
Or going to uni and becoming a doctor.
Or going to uni. Well, that kind of is in a way initiating, right? Because you are learning from someone. You're being taught. You're in
Why
community.
Did you look up there? Where's
I don't know.
The lecturer's up?
The lecturers.
Goddamn fucking lecturer.
Goddamn lecturers. So smart.
Fuck. That's so true though. Like everything is, I guess, kind of like a rite of passage, like situation. It's whether or not it's forced upon us or we, as you say, go to the fringes of society and kind of like search for it ourselves.
Gangs, bikey kind of stuff, like, because they get that feeling of belonging and membership. And there is initiation to get into it, to prove yourself. So you kind of get to have this feeling of, I'm becoming something more than my previous self, which they're obviously not fully happy with.
Do you know, when my dad passed away, we found out he was a bikie gang member.
Wow.
Who the fuck was he?
That's wild.
Yeah. Like the whole story of it was, so he told us all that he was having some standard heart surgery because they had a stent in there and they had to like go in and blah, blah, blah. But then he had a brain aneurysm when he was out of ICU. He had a brain aneurysm and he passed away. And
wow.
Turns out he had a fucking triple bypass, but he didn't tell anybody. And then my sister finds a last testament will in his bedside table, so he had it all prepared.
Oh, he had it. So he
Yeah.
knew.
But in what he describes as his third phase of his life, the best thing in his life wasn't the fact that he had 3 kids, was yeah, like, who are you, buddy? Was the fact that he was a founding member of a motorbike chapter and giving out the Christmas gifts on the annual motorbike ride to the village kids. And I'm like,
To the village kids?
yeah,
I have so many questions.
because he lived in Thailand.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
But like,
So it was a Thailand bikie gang.
well, they've got a chapter. Yeah, they have chapters in
Right.
yeah,
Different places.
yeah, and then we're like,
Wow.
hang on a minute, this is a 1%er. It's a 1%.
That's crazy. Wow.
And my brother took his ring, and the chapter leader pretty much said to my brother, "You can't wear that ring. You can have it, but you can't wear it.
Mm-hmm.
You can only wear it if you come to Thailand and ride with us."
Oh,
Yeah,
the secret society
The
has
se-
spoken.
the secret society.
Wow.
But anyway,
It's
yeah,
wild.
gangs.
It's a whole other, like, it's crazy to think that it exists, especially if you're not in it. And then
So it-
sometimes, like, you kind of, like, I accidentally one time ended up at a bikie member's house.
Hang on. How? How do you
So-
accidentally rock up
This
at,
was in my crazy days.
right, in your
and
dark days?
I had been up all night,
Your
went
dark-
back.
Your dark days of summer.
Yes, pretty much. It was a good time, but holy fuck. Was just, yeah, I didn't even remember. I was somewhere in like Airport West, and I couldn't even tell you whose house it was or who I was with. It was all people that I didn't really know that well. And then this guy was like, "Do you want to come over to my house? I need to feed the dogs or something weird." And I was like, "Okay." Went to his house, and his granddad or something was like the Banditos, like
Oh, fuck.
person. Anyways, and then everyone was like, "Don't go to that house. Don't go to that house." Anyways, and I was just like, "Oh, he was actually lovely." That was
Yeah.
they had all the fighting dogs and everything, and they showed me all the different dogs that they had for that, and I was like, "This is hectic." Like, okay, I just like it kind of clicked when I arrived. I was like, "Okay, this is
I think they're just
something.
everyday normal people.
just normal people." They were lovely.
They're normal people.
Yeah.
And, they're just in a club
Yes,
that unfortunately, has a stigma.
yes.
I kind of like how you just accidentally went there.
I know. This is like such a classic situation in my life. I feel like I always just end up in the weirdest, randomest situations.
Okay, so how long did these dark days last for?
I mean, it
And
was,
then did you become like a nail technician or something?
it's funny. I mean, I do have amazing nails if anyone can see these.
I did notice them.
Aren't they fabulous?
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, when I say dark days, like obviously it was dark because what I was indulging in was not healthy, but I had so much fun and I had amazing people around me. Like I have really good family and I did have some good friends. It was just that there was some characters and places and things that I probably shouldn't have been doing. So, yeah, this was probably from when I was like 15 to say 22. And then when I was 22, I
15's young.
moved to Bendigo.
Oh, did you move to Bendigo?
Yeah, I studied outdoor and environmental education. So I was a bushwalking guide. So that was my
Right.
next phase of life.
Right.
Mm.
My best mate's from Bendigo.
Oh, I love Bendigo. It's great. I
Yeah.
loved living there. It was amazing.
I mean, he passed away, but yeah, he was from Bendigo, and his parents still live there, and his sister still lives there, and
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to go there next month, actually.
Make a trip.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I remember like moving here from Perth. So I met him in Perth,
Okay.
and then in 2001, in the year 2000, he moved back here. And then it took him 6 months to convince me to come over.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that got me was the girls are better here. So I was like, I'm coming over.
Say no more.
Mind you, he saved my life by forcing me to come over and saying, you can stay with me.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Because I was in my dark days.
Yes.
And
went through a little squirrely chapter.
Yeah. It got really out of hand. But anyway,
The unhinged. And I can't believe I used to post all the photos of like going out online.
bro.
Like I've made them all private now, but they're on my OG Facebook, which I still use now as my business account.
I thought you were going to say your OG, what's it called? MySpace.
Oh yeah, MySpace.
Thank God digital cameras were not around when I was doing that. I still have hard copy photos
That's so
that I
funny.
bring out every now and then. Just have a little chuckle. But yeah, no, I definitely would have put myself 6 feet under if I stayed there. So I had to come here.
So grateful, right? So grateful
Yeah.
for these opportunities and these people that
Yeah.
appeared at just the right time to just be like, no, that's not what you're meant to be doing.
But then we'd go to Bendigo. And, you know, he loved the drink.
Did you go to Universal? Was that a thing there?
Yeah. Yeah, Universal. And then there was one other bar.
You go to the Oney pub.
He worked at Clogs.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Memories.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then, you know, so he spent a bit of time back in Bendigo, but then he would always like move back to Melbourne and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And yeah, but he passed away, so it'll be 3 years in May. Fucking motherfucker.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn him.
How dare you?
He should be here.
Like, I mean, he's still here.
He's still here.
He is still here. But so he was my best man when I got married. He was there when I got divorced. And then he told me that he was getting married. So I was like, cool, you know. He never fucking asked me if to be his best man. So I just like organised the bucks. I was like, well, I'm doing it. And then on the day of his wedding,
Love this.
yeah, on the day of his wedding, he calls me and he's like, hey, can you come to the venue 15 minutes before everybody else? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, is everything okay? And he's like, oh, we've got a corsage for you. And I was like, okay. Thinking, pretty sure I know what a corsage is. But I mean, she was Japanese, so who knows whether or not this is a Japanese like tradition or whatever. I hung up the phone and then I got changed into a suit because I wasn't going to wear a suit. So I got changed into a suit, rocked up, walked into the venue. First thing he says to me is, glad you got the memo, because he was wearing a blue suit as well.
Oh, no.
Puts the corsage on. I'm looking around. There's only two other girls, two of her friends that have corsages. So I was like, you motherfucker, you fucking made me the best man on the day of your wedding. And this gives me no time at all to do a speech.
Oh, so you just had to think of something.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks later on his honeymoon, he went to bed and he never woke up.
Wow.
In Singapore. And he had a cardiac arrest in his sleep, which then 6 months later found out he had myocarditis, which is the enlarged heart due to the vaccine.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Fucked.
That is fucked. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's just a horrible story.
But yeah, and then he's just been around. He's still here.
Yeah.
I still swear at his photo that's on my fridge every morning. What the fuck are you doing?
How are you? Give me a life update.
Yeah. Send me the signs. But yeah, so next month I'll have to probably go to Bendigo and see his parents.
See the fam.
Yeah. But yeah, shit, that kind of went really morbid. Sorry about that.
It's life, right? It's the full spectrum of
Yeah.
humans
Yeah.
experience.
So you were going to become a bushwalker
Yes.
in Bendigo. And then what happened?
So I was studying at uni and I did that for 3.5 years. And that was really going deep into natural history, into landscapes, and being able to safely experience like kayaking, sea kayaking, rock climbing, mountaineering, all these kinds of different things. And then I went and did that as a profession for a couple of years. And and I loved it. It was great. It was so much fun. It just doesn't pay very well. You know, it's just not sustainable and it's very hard on your body. Like physically, it's very like carrying a heavy pack and cold mornings and early mornings, and just like it's the working conditions are quite tough because you're obviously going away for extended amounts of time.
Is that where you kind of got your first like inkling of like facilitating groups?
100%, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's so funny when I think back, like even just doing the like the debriefs or like running the safety talk in the morning, I would get so much anxiety around even just speaking to a group of like 12 people, and I would be like, oh my god, like I'd find it so hard to speak. So it's been a whole journey of moving through my fear of like speaking in front of people.
I couldn't imagine you don't seem like someone that would get like nervous speaking to people.
I know.
It's not the energy that I get.
Because even like one-on-one I would be fine, but then as soon as there'd be more than a couple of people listening, I would just have like a full physiological experience in my body. Yeah, of full anxiety. So wild.
It's your body doing flight or fight.
Yes, 100%.
It's the same biological functions in your body as if you're getting excited.
Yes.
Nerves and excitement.
Yes, that's right.
All right, let's close our eyes and imagine you're doing a safety debrief. Go.
I don't even know if I can I remember what I used to say. No, we would talk about like snakes, like being careful of snakes. And we'd be like, and don't scream because the snakes can't hear you. They don't have any ears.
Oh.
Yeah. So you have to like stomp your feet and
so
then
that they feel the vibration.
Yeah. And then just move backwards slowly.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that we would say. Or we'd say if you need to go to the toilet or the lavatory, you may use any tree. And we'd like make all these stupid puns because it was like, make it funny.
It just makes it more relatable. Plus,
100%.
like you're automatically taking the awkwardness out of using a tree to go to the toilet.
Totally. And because it was like a luxury hiking tour, so it was very based around like the food and the wine because I like nice things. So I would always end up working for products that had really good attention to detail and would be for people that have a lot of money. So I think it was like $7,000 for 6 days.
Holy shit.
But
for one person?
For one person.
Holy shit.
This was in the Lara Pinta in the middle of the desert in Alice Springs. But there was like, we were eating prawns and eye fillet or you can drink wine at night, and we would do like sundowner drinks for them, like
Holy
gin
shit.
and tonics
What did I say before about you being an overachiever? You're like just fucking skyrocket into like...
I loved it. It was so fun. And I learned how to cook all these different kinds of foods because we would do all the cooking as well. So yeah, and just like...
Yeah, because like...
You're in the middle of the desert.
Like
so
there's no chef. You got to be a chef.
Yeah, you're wearing all the hats. So you have to I did wilderness first aid. You'd have to learn how to do like recovery of vehicles. Like I got a vehicle like bogged in the sand and had to like figure out how to deal with this while I have like 12 guests to look after their safety in like 40-degree heat. So there was like a lot of situations where you'd really have to be thinking on your feet and be really like onto it. And then also you're the entertainment. So you're interpreting the stars and the planets and talking about, the different soils and the indigenous people and telling stories and like, yeah, it was huge.
That's actually massive.
Yeah, it was,
Like
it was a big job.
having to wear all those different hats at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy. Definitely like forged my personality as well. Like it really, and I feel like I needed it because I feel like we grow up in this really comfortable, you know, I mean, if you're fortunate enough to have those luxuries of house, food, having all the things, and it's very comfortable and cushioning, and we don't have a lot of things that are really challenging in our lives. So that's why I felt like doing this was really important for me to really push me to those limits of carrying a 25 kilo pack sometimes filled with cheese and imported fucking salmon and like crazy stuff in the middle of the desert.
It sounds so delicious.
It was so good. At the time, I was not gluten and dairy intolerant.
You are now?
I wasn't like practicing it. And we used to play this game called What Are the Odds?
What? Roulette food?
Have you ever played What Are the Odds?
No. What? How do you play that?
So basically, you have to get someone. It's like a daring game. So you could be anything.
Right.
So we would just play it because it would be entertaining while you're out in the desert. So often if there was like food left, and I remember one time there was like a lot of cheese left over, like beautiful cheese, but fuck, like way too much for one human to consume safely. And I played What Are the Odds? I said to my colleague, I was like, all right, what are the odds that you will eat the rest of this cheese? And he can say a number as high as he wants. And then we count down from 3. And then if we say the same number, then he has to do it.
Oh, fuck.
But he chooses the odds. So that's why I say, what are the odds? So if he's like feeling a bit crazy, he might say 1 in 2. And then there's a 50-50 chance of him having to do it. Then this is the thing. If we say the different number, then the next round means that it's on me. So we reverse it. So if it's 50-50 chance and he doesn't get it the first round, then I have to do it. So it could be quite fun to do 50-50 because there's a 50-50 chance of one of you having to do it.
Did someone have to eat the cheese?
Fucking oath he did.
Holy shit.
And it was a lot of cheese. Yeah, it was very entertaining. But yeah, I've seen some people do hilarious things from this game, like licking a fish carcass. And I don't know, motorboating a bucket of compost.
What?
Yeah, just weird shit.
That is so funny.
It's fairly funny. Maybe this is my like my sadistic side that's now come out as being a dominatrix that's like was being seeded.
Being seeded by the experiences that you put yourself through, you know, having a job where you're having to wear all these multiple hats in like pretty extreme conditions, but then coming up with, you know, comical ways to entertain people.
Totally, yeah. I mean, we wouldn't play it with the guests. We would just do it with the guides because obviously, you know, it'd be a bit inappropriate. Safety and, you know, they're like high paying and high rollers a lot of the time. Like we had the top of the police force. We've had some of the top surgeons in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, rubbing shoulders with some really influential people, which I also really loved because the conversations were really interesting.
I think it's, as you said before, it was like embedding and seeding this characteristic within you. Totally. To kind of like do something different.
Yes.
And you were so doing something different. And so how many years were you doing that particular role like?
So the one that I'm specifically referring to on the Lara Pinta, I did that for pretty much a full season, which is around 5 months. And then I went back to Melbourne and then I went back up and I trained the new guides, but I was only there for like 3 weeks.
Right.
So it was really that one season, but you're working 6 days. So it's a 6-day product, they call it.
Right.
And 1 day off. So you do that for 3 weeks and then you have a week off.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I would get fucked up on a Friday night after work, go to the pub. I can't even believe I would drink this much beer. And then I would go mountain biking on the Saturday or like go hiking or do something really energetic and then do it all again. I was like, how do I have that much energy?
It's called being young.
Yeah, literally.
And somehow
It's wild.
somehow being able to recover as quickly as you did,
Mm.
you know.
I mean, I've never been so tired in my entire life, like on the Sunday, like having to pick
Girl,
up the
you don't
guests
know
and
what
being like,
tired is. Yeah,
So, yeah.
like I think when you're younger, like you think you're invincible. You're like, oh yeah, I could just go
Totally.
out. I just drink as much. I mean, I don't drink, but like I can go out and for yourself, you was like drink as much as I can, and then I'll go mountain bike riding.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a lot of energy, which is why I'm off coffee.
Oh,
Yeah. So I've actually been off coffee for, I think, 2 months now.
How are you surviving?
It's been a full fucking, like, it has been an initiation. Let me just tell you.
The headaches.
That was like for the first kind of week or two was really, really hard. And then I cut out sugar. So no sugar, like none, no dairy, no gluten, no fruit.
So no fructose.
I'm like off everything. Like, and no alcohol. So this is the healthiest I think I've ever been since I was like a kid.
So you're basically just eating cardboard and tissue paper.
Meat and vegetables.
Meat and veg, girl.
That's it. And rice and, other like grains and seeds and stuff. But yeah, it's been a whole thing because I never realize how attached I was to food and my vices. So I'm really in this process of like excavating my internal world to not need or rely on anything so that I can do fucking anything that I want and nothing's going to hold me back. And I didn't want to be relying on, if I don't have a coffee, I'm going to have a fucking meltdown. Like, fuck that. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to need anything.
Why do you sound like everybody in Melbourne?
'Cause I was that person for years.
I mean, okay, hang on. So we just got to backtrack a little bit. So why? Why did you decide that you wanted to do that?
To get off coffee?
Yeah, and then, work out that you're lactose intolerant.
Yeah, I guess I've always been really intrigued by health. So it's definitely one of my like top values is wellness. And that's, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, like really into personal development and growth and like just being the best version of me, being really energetic and full of life and like just zesty in every single way.
Where did that come from though? Because
I don't know.
Your mum's boyfriend didn't give you a book that you like read every single day, like me. Like,
I don't know where it came from. I just it got really into biohacking and I don't know, like I guess I've just always liked being physically strong and capable and like able. Like I just love like the idea of vitality and living to your most fullest self. To all of your capacity. I think that's one thing that I would like my main regret in life would be not living my fullest capacity. Like getting to the end and being like, I wish I did this and I don't want that experience, which is why I'm like, all right, it's time to fucking deal with my addictions. So it's like it's been a slow burn, because alcohol and drugs was a massive thing for me as I spoke about earlier. So it's like now it's moved into more sneaky things like sugar, phone addiction, dopamine, like it's other like quick fixes, potato, like whatever it is that you need.
Potato?
Well, hot chips are pretty fucking good.
Wow. I mean, look, I think based on what you've just told me in this short 44 minutes, you strike me as someone who, like when you were younger, you tried to achieve like lots of different things, like with basketball and then, any endeavor that you kind of put your mind to. And potentially like you did those things and you were satisfied. So the next challenge is overcoming the internal. And so that's kind of like what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And really challenging what your mind, body, and soul can achieve internally. And I think that's really cool.
Yes,
Mm.
100%. So it's like all the different layers. So yeah, during 2020, during the lockdown, because I was in Melbourne at the time, I went in massively and I did this program called Life Book, and he divides life up into like 12 categories, and then you basically go really deep into each of the categories. So it's like, health and fitness, relationships, career, character, emotional life, spiritual life. Can't remember all of them, like big vision stuff, lifestyle. And that was the first time that I'd ever looked at these parts of me and gone, what do I actually want, right? Because an arrow without a target will always miss. So you need to know what it is that you're aiming for, right? Otherwise you're just kind of bumbling around.
An arrow without a target will always miss.
It's a good one, right?
That needs to be on a fucking t-shirt.
It does.
Why and how did you get onto this course?
Outdoor Ed or the Life Book?
The Life Book.
Wow. So how did it happen? So I was listening to a podcast. It was like when I went through my massive kind of spiritual awakening, I would say.
Yeah.
Like when after all the drugs and the heavy shit, I got really into the festival scene and like doofing, and there was like the kind of spirituality, pseudo spirituality, I would say. And I never really understood what it meant.
It is a pseudo spirituality thing. I think it can.
You wear the hat and you look the part, but you're not actually embodied in what you're saying. You're like, I love chakras. And it's like, and incense.
I love chakras and incense, and that's not what all festivals are about.
No, but you know what I mean. If you go to festivals, you'll understand what I mean.
It's the whole hippie love movement thing, like be free and enjoy the music. And
yeah, which I love. I absolutely love festival culture. It's a massive part of my life and personality. I'm going to Rabbit Seat Lettuce next week and I'm super excited. But yeah, I guess that kind of started it for me, was like the interest in, there's something more here. I don't understand it. I don't know what it is, but there's something more than what I've been prescribed to in my earlier days, which was how I look, how I dress, what I own, the job that I have, all of the things that kind of make my social, cultural like identity. So I was like, okay, well, what exists beyond that? What else? How do I fit into this web of life and this kind of transpersonal space? What exists? And I've never thought about that. I haven't come from religion or anything like that. So yeah, that kind of is where it started. And then in 2020, came across a podcast, The Science of Success, and they talked about Mind Valley, which is like a website, and they do like TED Talks and a whole bunch of things, but they bring in all speakers from all over the world that are in all kinds of different industries,
right?
All focused on human potential. So
and human design.
Everything. I'm sure there'd be a human design specialist. They'd have like a quantum manifester. They'd have just all the real woo-woo stuff, but really dispelled down into the scientific bits of it to make it relatable. So this is like, I guess, what all the people in like Silicon Valley are kind of using, and like biohacking and this kind of stuff. And I just like got open to this whole world. And this program was on a part of Mind Valley, the subscription. So I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm in lockdown, might as well do this like 6-month personal development course.
Worst lockdown city in the world. Might as well do it. Can't go external. I'll go internal.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's what happened.
Motherfucker.
I did heaps of stuff in that realm, and I did like so much.
You must have learned a lot about yourself.
Oh my God, it was crazy.
What was
it? Was a lot.
Yeah, what was the
It's challenging actually.
I bet. What was the biggest thing that you were surprised about yourself?
I think I struggled the most with the character section because I found it very triggering, because I knew who I wanted to be, but I wasn't that person. So it was really challenging to look at. It was like shadow work, because I was like, okay, well, these are the things that I really value in a human, but I'm not that. That's not who I am right now. Because at the time I was like still dabbling and wasn't really living my dream life. Like I was in an industry I wasn't super passionate about. I was working in the disability industry. Amazing job. I was running 4-wheel drive camps for people with disabilities, and it was awesome. Like, love it, love everything that was created there, but it was not, it wasn't fueling my soul. And I was still didn't really have amazing people around me that were really aiming for their goals like I was and wanted to. So I was in this, like, it was the turning point, and it was really interesting kind of from that. And I did the Deepak Chopra 21-day meditation. I don't know if you remember that going around.
Yeah, I remember that.
That changed my life. I'd never meditated before doing that. And yeah, everything shifted from there. I manifested my dream house, got an amazing relationship. I moved into state. I got offered a transfer to the Sunshine Coast, and then that's when I changed careers. I got offered an opportunity to start running tantric temples, and everything just fucking exploded for me. All in the space of, from 2020 to now, so 5 years, which is actually crazy because when I wrote the life book, it was a 5-year plan, which is fucking nuts. And when I look back on it, I actually achieved everything after 2.5 years.
I need to look at this website. I think it's interesting how you acknowledge that you weren't the person that you wanted to be. And I was talking to someone last night about when you get to a point where you do take your own personal accountability.
It's like
it's confronting.
It's so painful.
Yeah,
it's so hard
because we are fed this idea at such an early age, and then you make allowances and compromises, but then you don't realize how far that is actually taking you from where you actually want to be.
Totally. Yeah, it's like if you do X, Y, Z, do these things, then you will have money and then you'll be happy, or have this career and then you'll be happy. It's safe. Do the safe. We're told to do the safe option.
Fuck the safe.
Fuck the safe option. Let me be a living example. I did a degree in fucking camping, do the thing that lights you up, and I promise it'll lead you to where you want to be.
Hang on. Backtrack. A degree in camping?
Well, I did outdoor and environmental education. So
yeah, I get that, but
you pretty much what it is. How to go camping.
How to go camping?
Pretty much what it is. It's what we do. We take people camping.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, when you said that, I was just pretty sure I don't need a degree to put up a tent. But there's a whole bunch of other things like risk mitigation.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
3.5 years worth, apparently. And it was the best thing I ever did. It was amazing. I can't even explain how that was again, that was another real cornerstone moment in my life, was the degree and doing that.
I can imagine that the skills that you learnt doing that and doing the job are transferable into what you're doing now.
1,000%.
Because I said earlier about, when you were doing the group things and facilitating, does that facilitation transpose over into what you're was that when you first started realizing that you love facilitation, And you did already say that you weren't a great public speaker, but now look at you.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Everyone has to start at step 1.
You got to.
You can't go into, and actually I did say this to the person last night as well. I was like, everyone has to start at step 1. And yes, it's scary, but you don't go from step 1 to 10,000 hours of mastery overnight. You have to put the work in.
100%.
You got to put the reps in and gain the experience and adjust and learn and, progress and all that type of stuff.
Yes, exactly.
So, what were, when you were looking internally, what were some of the things that you weren't surprised of, that you're like, oh yeah, I got that, or I know this?
When I was doing the life book process?
Yeah.
I guess the thing that I was really putting a lot of effort into was the emotional chapter. And I really enjoyed putting together, because I can't remember the exact questions that you ask yourself, but it was like, what do I believe about this part of my life, my emotional world? What's actually happening? What do I want? Like, what's the vision? And then how am I going to get there? So that was the 4 questions that you asked yourself.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed putting together, like, I guess the process of emotional alchemy, because I feel like that's the number one thing that stops me from living my authentic self,
Yeah.
is having my emotional self get in the way, or not being able to deal with life and its challenges, or whatever it is. Like, being able to just emotionally regulate myself has been the key to living a life that I now have, you know?
Is it because you were highly emotional?
Very, yes, very, very, very emotional, and like really up and down, like very up and down. And I think that was why I really enjoyed taking drugs, because it would instantly regulate me. So if I was in a really dysregulated place, I could take something and it would go away. So it was kind of like the masking of that. So then being able to now manage that, and again, this leads to back to the coffee and these things, and that is a big piece of it too, because it's all about how regulated our system is. And the more regulated we are, and like we're in our parasympathetic and we're like relaxed, the better we are able to function in life. So we need to be in that state most of the time. But for me, I was in constant fight or flight in the sympathetic state. So yeah, that's been a massive piece for me. And I didn't realize, I guess how much and how important it was. But then when I look back at it, so funny, I've still got the copy of it, and I go, wow, like I wrote so much in that section, and it was the one that I'd always go back to. I'd be like, oh, I've got this other technique that I added in, and I'd refer back to the how section and go, okay, that's right, I've got this technique and these different things, because we're not taught how to emotionally regulate, or what to do with anger or sadness and grief and deep guttural fucking
What do you
pain.
mean? We're just told to suck it up.
Right? Just get over it.
Get
Build a
over
bridge,
it.
Have
Why
a cup
you,
of concrete.
why are you being like that? Drink a beer. No, thank you.
So crazy, hey?
Yeah, I'm really fascinated as to like that you would have had so many different experiences like internally that you're kind of like, were you fighting like how you were feeling and things like that, and particularly to do with like, you know, cutting particular foods out and, you know, like.
Yeah, I think it was me trying to find regulation in food rather than creating safety in myself. So that was the massive thing that shifted there. So it was like, okay, I've been using substances or situations, even stress, using stress as a way to like distract, like keep myself in a space that feels like it's safe, because that's what I'm used to. So being in chaos feels like where I'm supposed to be. Being relaxed feels unsafe, because, oh my God, now I start to feel emotions that I haven't actually had access to because I've constantly been in this fucking space. So
Right.
that's been the journey. Yeah. And then, through food and things like that. And this is recent as well. Like I did a vision quest. I don't know if you've had a vision quest before.
No.
It's a 4-day, 4-night solo ceremony in nature. That is a rite of passage. So I'm really passionate about rites of passage. So it's funny that we were talking about it, because I do believe that it's a massive reason why our society is in the state that it's in, is because we don't have proper initiation for our culture that's suitable for the Western kind of way of being. So this is why Vision Quest is an answer to that. So it's been adapted from Native American traditions, where they would send the young men off out into the wilderness for 4 days and 4 nights in a fasted state to have a direct commune with the great mystery, God, nature, whatever you want to call it, source, and receive communication and information about what their purpose is in the world and what they're going to come back and do. And then come back to the village like, right, I'm going to be a builder, I'm going to be this, or I'm going to be, you know, whatever. So that's something that I did recently. When was it? It was just before.
Do you take ayahuasca?
No, it's fasted.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So you only have water.
I mean, I've done 4-day water fasts. I've done
Yes.
3 of them now.
Okay.
And yeah, it's actually the first time I did it, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't eaten in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time I did it, I was like, no, this is easy. Like, I actually know what to expect now.
Yeah, you know how your body's going to respond.
Yeah, like the headaches and then the energy surge and, you know, like all of that.
Amazing.
So you've done this for this 4-day rite of passage.
Yes, I've done 2 of them. Yeah, they're amazing. I would highly recommend it if people ever feel like drawn to it. Whereas ayahuasca, you know, that removes all of our, I guess, our sub-personalities out of the way so that we can receive direct communication from source. Whereas this experience is you are just there on your own. It is up to you. And it takes a certain level of strength to be able to sit with yourself and all the parts of you that you are hiding from, because it's just you alone with no food.
Hang on. So you do it alone. Nobody else is there.
Nobody else is there.
Oh, fuck.
And you only have like a small circle, like a little area to be in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That is so much.
It's a lot. It's definitely the hardest, probably one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Like, I remember when I was going through a breakup, I had a friend of mine that he invited me to go to a Buddhist temple, and we did some meditation. Anyway, there was a point where I was like, okay, you got to be quiet now and listen to your voices in your head. And at the time, there was like 1,000 voices in my head screaming or like shouting stuff, and it was just way too much. So I can imagine doing this 4-day rite of passage, sitting alone by yourself, how many voices that there would be talking to you.
Many. Many. I mean, the lineage that I did it with was through Bill Plotkin's school, so the Animus College in Colorado, and he's created his own form of it that is for the kind of Western mind. Right. A lot of the other lineages, so I've done the Stalking Wolf lineage, one which is different. It's more traditional, and I think I prefer, me personally, the Animus lineage because it's more focused on the way that we operate. So you're more comfortable. So you can have books, pens, you have things to do, you can do ceremonies, you can do certain rituals, you work with more, so there's stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
Whereas the Stalking Wolf, it's just about moment-to-moment noticing and staying in the moment-to-moment noticing. And if you notice that you're not in that and that you're lost in thought or you're having emotion come up or whatever, then you do like a kind of stomping like action to kind of move it through you. But the two are different in that way. That
for 4 days.
For 4 days.
And you're only drinking water.
Only drinking water.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated. I'm intrigued. I want to do it, but I'm also scared.
Yeah, fair enough. I would be scared too. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's like it's a spiritual soccer punch, and I have a lot of respect for people that can undertake things like this because they want to be the best versions of themselves, and they're doing this because they want a vision. It's a grief cry for vision, for purpose. What am I here to do? What is my heart breaking for? And what am I willing to do to get to that? Like, these are the deeper questions that these kinds of experiences cultivate. It's stepping beyond the egoic desires of, societal, culture stuff that's just, house, these things. But it's like, what's your actual Like they call it the mythopoetic identity. So it's very powerful. I love it. And it's very unique. And you don't find a lot of people that actually know of it.
You're so right, though, in that society, there's no facilitation or assistance in trying to work that stuff out. You're just like presented ideology that is, one for a better word, fabricated.
Yes.
Through history and generations and given to us. And then it's like, well, that's what it is. Not realizing that there's this underlying method to really like tap into your higher purpose or what you're here to actually do. You know, I mean, you do see, like when you just said that dialogue then, I have seen some like talks, but like mainly to do with like high achieving athletes or like entrepreneurs or whatever who talk about like that stuff and what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice to get to where you want to go? And whilst that's just a statement, I feel like there's a little bit of like essence in, you know, what they're trying to say, but like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good reflection. And there's so many different ways that we can get to this place. You know, there's so many different paths and different ways are going to align with different people. But I guess because I love nature and being outside, and I think that that is where the answers are, is if we just go and sit on the earth. And that's why I love Vision Quest, because you're in communication with nature. And rather than feeling like a visitor of a place, you recognize your place as a part of it, in direct communion with it. So like a tree's purpose is to, you know, photosynthesize energy from the sun and provide nutrients for the bugs and the worms and all these things and habitat. And it's like, well, what's our purpose in the ecosystem?
We're the visitors.
It's taken me a long time to not think that.
Really?
Yeah, it took me a long time until I really was like, okay, no. I thought we were like aliens on this planet, because I was just like, how can we, because we're destroying it. Like growing up, I was like, how can we be a part of this place when we're...
Convince me we're not aliens. Go.
I don't know. Haven't you seen the picture of the going from a monkey to a...
Yeah. Look. So I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, right? Some people love
dangerous.
him. Some people love him. Some people hate him. Look, he just loves talking to people that he's really interested about. And on one of the recent podcasts, he's like, you know, how can our distant relative still be here? You know, after millions and millions of years, they're still here. Surely it means that someone came back and was like biohacking them to create us. How are we the most intelligent species on the earth? And there's no one else like us. And so I was just like, damn, that's actually a pretty interesting statement.
Very interesting. I don't know a lot about this topic, but I mean, what about the Neanderthals? Like, they've evolved.
Yeah, but what he was saying was that...
We weren't speaking and stuff.
Yeah, what he was saying, though, was that chimpanzees are still here.
Yes.
Shouldn't they be extinct?
Yes, because we've evolved.
If they've evolved. And so...
That makes sense.
He was pretty much saying, like, you know, when a species evolves, the later generations die off. But for some reason, the chimpanzees are still here.
There's so many questions I have around all of this stuff.
And then like all the shit that they've found, like underground in Egypt under the pyramids,
Yes.
like all that type of stuff. It's like, whoa.
Well, they already know that there's aliens here and that they want to help us, but we're just still fucking it up. They're basically just watching us kill ourselves.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's a lot of things that I'm just not quite sure what to make of my tiny little primate brain.
All right. So during COVID, you do all this stuff, and then you kind of get into like dominatrix and tantric temples.
Yes.
Like how
Mm-hmm.
and why?
Amazing. So, as I mentioned, I was doing the 4-wheel drive camps. I was the regional manager, kicking ass, loved this job, offered a transfer to the sunny coast.
Regional manager.
I know, right? When I was like, got that job, I was like, I am cool now.
You are killing it.
I am living it.
But you had no purpose.
Regional manager. I don't know if you ever watched SpongeBob. It's to be the manager. It's like, anyways, it actually reminded me of me. It was like, and he's like, cleanliness is next to managerliness. I'd like make sure I was all clean. Anyways, so
fucking hilarious.
moved to the Sunshine Coast and was doing that, but like, was like, I fucking hate this. Like, I was like, I'm really like, I was at my wit's end with it, with the industry. And I had a friend, met this amazing woman, and she invited me to a tantric temple night. And I'd never been before. And she said, okay, you're kind of going to be exploring pleasure and connection and eros. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And I put on my beautiful lingerie and was like, showed up, had my little mini little whip, and off I went. And from that moment, as soon as I stepped into this space, I just felt so comfortable and so at home, and, you know, met my first slave there, and I ended up doing quite a bit of work with him. And he was like my first real, like, I had a client back when I was at uni. So I had been in the sex industry whilst I was studying as well. I didn't mention that, but I was doing sugar babying work. I had a slave when I was at uni. So it was always a thread, you know, like sexuality. And even in high school, like I was super promiscuous and just never felt taboo for me, and organized threesomes and, you know, got up to no good. So it was great. It was a good time.
Dark days of summer.
They were fun.
I bet. Not for me, but I bet.
And yeah, I guess from doing the temple, it was very short after that then the woman who was running the temple asked me to run them with her.
Why? Why do you think she did that?
She saw something in me. She could see. So I was also a performer. So I still am a performer. I'm performing at Rabbits. I'm a dancer. And I think she'd seen my Instagram of me on stage and like holding presence and, you know, just my embodiment of who I was, and like walking through this event that I'd never been to before, didn't know anyone. And I'm walking through the space like I fucking owned it. You know what I mean? Like I just have confidence, you know, and I think, and I'm friendly and I talk to people and I'm interested.
And you're engaging.
I like listening to people's stories and connecting with them. And there was a guy that had like this, like electrodes thing, and he was doing all these like different electrical play on me. And then there was like had this flame thing, and he was putting the flames, and like I was just so intrigued, and I was like, yes, like trying all these things, you know. And I think she saw me, this person, and was like, that, you know, I see something in you, and, you know, do you want to run these with me? And I was like, I don't have any, like, what? Okay.
I've just got my little whip. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh my God. So imposter syndrome was real.
Hey, so yeah.
It was gnarly.
Imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah.
You probably had imposter syndrome a couple of times in your life.
Yeah, totally.
As everyone should and does, but seldom acknowledges. And I think it's like it's good to have it.
Great. It means you found an edge. You're growing. Good job.
Yeah.
It means you're actually doing something, to push yourself.
Yes. I can't remember who said it, but I think it might have been Gary Vaynerchuk. But someone said, if you're not getting uncomfortable every 18 months, you're not growing. You're staying in your comfort zone. And so, I think
18 months.
Yeah, it doesn't
That's
sound
a long
like
time.
Is it a long time, or it doesn't sound like a long time?
I feel like I'm uncomfortable so often.
That's because you're just in fucking turbo mode.
It's true. I am a psycho. People often look at me like I'm some fucking a bit like masochistic style, like David
Right.
Goggins in terms of like, not all the time, but I do love it. I do love finding the edge and jumping off it.
It's funny how you mentioned David Goggins. It sounds like you're a David Goggins type of person.
Oh, I'm actually not.
You're not?
Like a little bit, like a sprinkle, like a little bit of.
You know
what I mean?
You know that's what David Goggins would say though. He's like, I ain't David Goggins. I'm just, fuck you, bitch. Fucking boat crew too.
That guy's nuts.
He's fucking mad. He's a madman.
He is mad.
And he's literally a freak of nature.
I mean, he's inspiring.
He's so inspiring.
So inspiring.
Like just his whole story about how, like his childhood and, his mum and his dad getting shot and all this type of stuff.
It's wild.
Yeah. And just that whole, yeah. Anyway, sorry, David Goggins. Love you to bits. Okay, so she approached you and was like, I want you to do these tantric temples.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Well, I decided this is my thing. This is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to commit myself to this 10,000%. And I did
a lot of percent.
all the trainings. I did conscious sexuality training. I did worked under a dom. I did the boundaries and consent training with Betty Martin. And I did like embodied leadership. I did public speaking. I did mentoring. I did so much. I did NLP, Reiki, you name it. I was just went crazy for a bit and really was like, okay, I'm just going to really commit myself to being this person and leading with integrity and being trauma informed and nervous system informed and guiding people to their edges to meet their desires and their fantasies within a safe container, within a space where they feel held, where they can explore their darkest fantasies and be loved and appreciated in that and feel a sense of community and wholeness.
It's not all about darkness and fantasies though, right?
Well, depends what you describe as the darkness. Could we describe the darkness? I mean, I think of darkness as the feminine and the erotic and the nature-based, earthly, wild essence of us, the underworld, the soul. I'd describe that as the dark. And I definitely think that's where temple culture exists.
It's the emotion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think of the light. I think of Kundalini. I think of spirit. I think of light language. I think, the kind of more godly realms.
Yeah.
Whilst we still harness and use that energy within temple spaces, it's more of the underworld kind of energy that gets explored within the temple space.
I actually love that.
It's great. I love it. It's like a space for consensual hedonism where we're exploring and celebrating exhibitionism and voyeurism, where you can play with role play, with fetishes, with kinks, with massage, wax, so many different parts of us that we might not even know that we enjoy because all we've seen of sex is, double penetration and gangbangs and porn and all this kind of stuff. So this is what I love about temple.
What's a gangbang?
Get your laptop and see your search history.
So if someone comes up to you and is like, hey, I've heard you're involved in these tantric temples.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get involved? What would you say to them?
I would say, great, come to the next event. So we run them on the Sunshine Coast and in Melbourne. And yeah, not sure how it's going to evolve. My business partner has decided that she's going to go do her own thing now. So the woman who approached me she's going to do her own chapter. She wants to move more into embodiment and I guess she's really into the trauma-informed stuff, nervous system stuff, somatics. So she's going to go and do that. So at the moment it's just me. So I'm about to go to Europe. So I'm kind of not sure how it's going to evolve. But if they wanted to be involved, go on to the Tantra community pages, and there's lots of different groups that run temples. There's not just me, so lots of the people will post on the Facebook groups.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so in the different cities. So there's like one for Melbourne, Sunny Coast, Byron.
Does that mean you're setting something up in Europe? Are you coming back?
I mean, there's definitely a lot going to be happening over in Europe, that's for sure.
Did we just get an exclusive? There's a lot of stuff happening in Europe.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I mean, so with my photography, I do get a lot of inspiration from Europe and from like places like Russia and the US and stuff like that. Because I don't know, it's just kind of like a little bit more accepted, that particular style.
Yep.
Here we're very vanilla.
We are very vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of understanding about techniques or like the reasons why things happen. Like the French, they've been fucking painting naked women for like centuries.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the body.
Yes.
Bro, get over it.
Yeah.
Every single person on this planet has had a boob in their mouth.
I love that. It's so true.
It's so true. So what is the problem?
It's bizarre. We're so prude in Australia. We're like, no topless women at the beach and
yeah.
Go to Europe.
Go to Europe. It's just fucking everywhere.
Yeah. Breasts. Beautiful breasts everywhere.
But I also think it's because we're such a young nation.
Yes.
As well. And, we are the largest island in the world, and we are a population of convicts who try to protect the jail mentality, which is tall poppy syndrome. When someone comes into a new jail, like you start at the bottom and you work your way up, and there's initiation that you have to go through. And if you stick your head up, too fast, then the herd will push you down.
So interesting.
And that's, I feel, what happens here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take, for example, this might not be a great example, but take, for example, like celebrities. They all start at Home and Away or Neighbours, and then they get a role and they go overseas and they get massive. Yeah. And then they come back here and we're like, oh, they were in Neighbours. Like, bro, like, how come you weren't all goo goo gaga when they were in Neighbours, or Home and Away? Mm-hmm. But it's always, you have to leave Australia to then gain new skills and gain new experiences and then come back. You can't like get big here.
Yeah, it's interesting that. It's like there's a glass ceiling.
Yeah.
There is a glass ceiling here. I feel that. And I feel like, especially because I was like a big part of my career was on the Sunshine Coast. And then I've been on the road traveling since the end of December. So I've just kind of been all over everywhere. And even since moving down to Melbourne, it's like, wow, there's so much more available here. And, I feel like then in Europe, it's going to be an even more expansive experience.
So much more.
I'm just so excited to just keep going on this journey of like learning skills and making awesome connections and like building amazing events and just spreading this message of breaking down the stigma surrounding kink and helping people understand that there is so much in kink that can be healing, can be really powerful, can be empowering, can totally change our internal landscape and alchemize shame and help us really step into and claim our authenticity. And I just fucking love that. And it's like, it's so hard to get that message out there when it's so stigmatized. Like when you look what's on the media, the 50 Shades of Grey and The Secretary, that hideous movie. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but I watched it recently. Oh my God. It was made in the 90s. So problematic. And there's all these movies that depict BDSM in this hideous light. So yeah, I'm excited to go to Europe and go to these places where it's been going on for so much longer, and they've got these amazing, really experienced dominatrixes and clubs and venues to, go into that. And then maybe I'll come back to Australia and everyone will be like, oh my God, Lotus.
After 5 years of being on the road.
When I think about my timeline in the future, I can't see myself living on the Sunshine Coast anytime soon. Like I can definitely see myself visiting there, but I feel like I've like opened up a door and that I can't go back inside.
It's the once you open up the secret door in the current Super Mario level, it's the new level.
Literally.
You like enter into the new level. There's no going back. There's so many more coins to collect.
That's how it feels.
Yeah.
And now I'm like in Melbourne, I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Like I have an event on from today until so I'm going back to the sunny coast to pack up all my shit, but I'll be back in May. And I have an event every weekend that I'm either speaking at, that I'm either running, or I'm just going to because it's awesome. Like there's just, it's so much richness here. And I'm excited to just like digest it all and absorb it all and connect with all the amazing humans here in Melbourne, and then take that with me over to Spain and France and the various places that I'm going to be going.
France will be exciting.
I know. I can't wait to go to France.
Well, Europe in general, I think
Have you been before?
Yeah, I was there last year.
Okay.
Very briefly, but then like when I was younger, so not really like as an adult, you know.
Yes.
I think that time is still coming for me.
Yes, amazing.
But like with as I said, with a lot of the stuff that I take inspiration from, photography wise, I can tell that there's like so much more in-depth understanding for lots of different aspects of the way that they live, like their culture, like it's all like there's a lot more acceptance, you know, for lots of different things that we would consider taboo, like here.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. There's a Mary Magdalene retreat, which I'm really excited to.
At the Vatican.
It's at La Contes?
I have no idea.
Les Contes? I don't know.
In Italy.
No, in France, in the south
in
of France. Yeah. So anyways, there's a bunch of like amazing things. It's just trying to figure out what it is that I want to do, but what a good problem to have.
Such a good problem to have. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would say trust your goofy, wild, silly self, because that's the essence of who you actually are. And don't worry what other people think of you.
It's so hard, Lotus, though, because, like, you know, you're just trying to fit in with my friends.
Well, they're not your friends if they don't like you for who you actually are.
Oh, that's a rite of passage, you know.
That's the juice. That's the rite of passage, is like, I always wanted to fit in and would like shapeshift. So that was a big piece for me, really stepping into like my fullness.
But then you also, when you shapeshift, you can also get like massive imposter syndrome. Because it kind of like goes against like who you are or what you're trying to do. even if even if you like don't know what that is, you know, like you just have that feeling inside.
Yeah, it's challenging. It is challenging, but I feel like over time, that version of you that you really want to be slowly starts to feel like you know, and it's going to feel uncomfortable. Like it absolutely is. Like, and that's how it's felt for me, like doing speaking and running events, like being like, oh, I am actually a leader in this space, and people are looking to me for answers and for leadership to lead a path of this is what it can look like to be embodied in pleasure, to be living a life of authenticity. So having that responsibility as well, like I think helps me remind myself of like, you know, that to stay into that anchor of like what's true, you know. Anyways, a little side ramble.
No, I think it's real interesting though, because, you know, would you get situations where people like question you on that?
As in like who I am and
No, like, so you just mentioned then about being a leader and people, you know, looking to you for guidance on how things can be. But then do you get people like questioning that?
sometimes I might get like weird messages and things, but to be honest, I've been met with so much love and so much support from my community. I've only copped a few weird messages that just are odd, don't really make sense, just from people judging me or saying, oh, why would you wear that or think that or something random, but it hasn't really been anything worthwhile. You know, if I look at someone and I look at them and what they're doing, I'm like, well, until you've walked my path and are doing what I'm doing, then I'm not really going to listen to the advice that you feel that you need to share with me on my public profile, person that I don't know. So yeah, it's an interesting one. But it's that tall poppy thing as well. But
Yeah.
I'm been really fortunate. I think a lot of people aren't as lucky, and I think I haven't come from a background of like religion, so I haven't had to deal with being like ostracized from a community. It was very hard for my family, and I know that sometimes it is still really hard, especially because at family gatherings everyone's talking about their work. You know, this is what I did, and my sister's a nurse, and I've done this, and now I've been admitted to this thing, and how do I get to share all the amazing things that I'm doing? Like, oh, I had a 7-hour booking the other day, and I tried sploshing for the first time, and I loved it, and you know, I weaved together tantric elements in the dungeon, and I brought sage to a dungeon, and it felt exhilarating.
I mean, why can't you have conversations like that with your family?
We'll get there. We get there, and they are talking very openly with me about a lot of things, and I think it's been a journey. Like I blocked my dad for a while, and like I kind of blocked them for a while when I first was posting about it, but I was in this really like in this phase of like feeling like I needed to post really provocative photos of myself.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm kind of like, okay, I don't actually like need to do that.
Yeah, that's not me.
Well, it's like I love it if people want to like maybe buy them off me, but I don't really need to be posting them as a part of my marketing.
Yeah.
So it's been a whole process of
unblocking them, inviting them into the conversation,
Totally.
or like giving them little snippets of you know,
you just drop little things in
activity. What's it called? Breadcrumbing.
Yes.
You've been breadcrumbing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look, my dad helped me with my prices. He made me like a spreadsheet.
Go Dad!
When I first started, you know, with my tantric massage offerings. So they're so supportive.
I love that. So I guess like the whole dominatrix thing as well, like how did that, like you mentioned that you had a slave in uni and you were kind of like dabbling in all of that, but like how did that kind of like evolve over time?
I guess an interest in the taboo and this deep desire for leaning into the things that were stigmatized, you know, and I guess finding it exciting because it is exciting. The things that are forbidden, no, don't touch that. Don't look at that. He's like, well, I want to go and do that now, whatever that thing is.
Shit, we worked out what your trigger is. No.
So that means yes, right?
Yeah. That means full steam ahead, David Goggins.
Yes. Anyways, I don't have a problem with authority. So
You are the authority.
exactly. So yeah, it's interesting. I guess it's almost like it found me. You know what I mean? Like the gangster life, like it chose me kind of vibes. Like I did not seek it out.
The fucking gangster life.
You know what I mean, though? Like it just like it appeared. Like I got offered.
I mean, look,
these things.
I do understand. I do understand.
It's just hilarious, like how it kind of happened. And then I guess an interest then started working with this dom, and she started teaching me a lot of the pieces around how to be a dom, and was like, all right, I want this to be my job. And then at Sexpo, got asked to speak, and I was doing tantric massage and kink sessions at the time, and they were like, do you want to run Kink 101? So it was like, okay, I was put into a leadership position where I was seen as this person who knew a lot about kink. And it kind of shaped my I did. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously I had to learn a lot, and I don't claim to be, an expert. I'm someone who's super passionate and willing to learn and be open to learn and grow. And I think that is the part that makes me, is that I'm willing to learn and own my fuck ups and be humble in the fact that I don't know everything, but I just love sharing information and making it exciting for people to listen to.
I think when you get to a point where you start saying you know everything is the minute people are like, that doesn't sound right.
There's something dodgy about this one.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
How can you claim to know everything?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I still get photographers asking me to, like, coach them through, like their photography journey and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't. Why are you coming to me? Like, I don't know everything. Like, I don't claim to know everything. I claim, like, I know what I like.
Yes.
And I know all of the mistakes that I've made, so that I don't make them again. But sometimes I still do make those same mistakes, and you just have to like be aware of them and kind of finesse and all that type of stuff. So it's very humbling when you hear other people say that they don't know everything, because that actually makes more sense than someone saying, yeah, I know everything about kink. Like I can teach you every 101 bit about it, right?
Totally.
It's like, no, because it's a journey.
And people come to you for your photography because it's you.
Yeah.
They want what you have. They want your essence, your unique flavor and spin on it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's something that I've kind of used in my advantage within this space is like, okay, well, how can I put my unique flair on this and make it exciting for me? So I made the Kink 101, a big focus of it was being about conscious kink. So being trauma informed, following the flow rather than following a set script. It was following more the energetics of the space and using somatics and mindfulness and weaving in tantra and
hang on. There's so many terms that. Sorry, the cat's just like fucking all over the place. Fucking Larry. Trauma response.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Fight, flight, freeze, and fawn.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So being aware that these things might come up in a session and being informed in the sense of how you, and again, as a facilitator, so an example of this would be, all right, everybody, we're all going to get up if you're choosing to participate in this activity. So there's an instant safety in the system of, I don't have to do this. All right, cool. I might actually sit out of this one because I'm noticing that I'm feeling actually really overstimulated. So you're giving people those little permission pieces in the way that you communicate. And it's the same within a kink scene. So that's what it means to be trauma informed. So being aware of the various ways that they present and then actually leading from that space.
you sound like a great facilitator. Hard to believe.
I really love it.
It's hard to believe that you struggled with public speaking.
Oh my God, it was such a fucking journey. So I had to do a full process. So for anyone who's interested in getting into public speaking, like, and you really want to do it, but you're so anxious, just keep going. Just keep going. And what I did is I worked with a mentor, and she was really into somatics, and she was very trauma informed, and she would get me to, like, she did this practice with me where, and I was, this was whilst I was public speaking in front of, I think there might have been 40 people there. She was standing with me, and she's like, all right, I want you to imagine that there's a circle in front of you, and I want you to put inside that, when you step inside that circle, you're going to embody the thing that you think that you don't have to speak. Like, what's the thing that is like, and for me, it was like having clarity, like being able to speak clearly and know what I want to say. And because that's what I would get really overwhelmed by, was getting like a mind block and then just having no idea what to say and then just freezing. So she did these various processes and practices using the senses. So taking myself through, okay, what can I see? What can I smell? What can I taste? Noticing the sensations in my body, belly breathing, shaking, doing these different practices over and over before being on stage. And then whilst being on stage, if I do become dysregulated, just fucking call it out. Be like, everybody, can we all just take a breath? Because I'm noticing that my chest is feeling a bit tight and I just need to calm myself down for a second.
So you as a facilitator would say that?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I think, again, it's this self-awareness and identifying that, okay, we just need, because who knows whether or not there's other people in the group that are feeling the exact same way.
Fucking oath, because we're all like in attunement.
Fucking oath.
I know, there's the ringwood coming out of me.
Bring it back to the fucking dark days of summer.
I tried to take it out of me. Honestly, it just pops up.
Nah, I love it. They're going to love that in Europe.
Anyways, so because we're all in attunement, right? So if I'm on stage and they're all breathing with me because they're looking at me, and if I'm like, and I'm kind of looking around and I'm fidgeting and I'm like doing this, then they're looking at me and they're going to start feeling anxious as well.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to
mirror.
They're mirroring.
It'll mirror, yeah.
And they're going to start going, oh my God, this is just so fucking uncomfortable to watch. Whereas if I'm like, can we all just take a breath? And then we all go, and then everyone takes a breath together and then we can start again. And people love that. And it makes me human as well. People realize that I'm just a fucking person up here. Just because I have a microphone doesn't make me any different.
You're a leader.
Leader.
You're a leader in Kink 101.
It's a lot. People put a lot of like responsibility on me. It's full on.
They do. It's like, take a fucking chill pill, all right? Like,
and I can fuck up.
Anybody can do this.
They can. If they want to.
If they walk your path.
Yes.
Yeah. Where do we go from here? Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been a really great conversation.
It's been great. Thank you so much.
I can't wait. Sorry for the cat like walking all over.
I love cats. I'm such a cat person.
Got
so.
Larry. But let me just take a quick selfie.
My dorky Air Maxes in the shot.
Bro, I only just noticed them. Have you? Well,
that's the Ringwood.
It's the basketball.
No, they're Air Maxes.
Yeah, but okay, it's the Ringwood. I particularly find those shoes though, they're really hard to. They're like wearing heels.
No,
they're like high up in the back, and for my feet anyway, I can't wear them. How can people contact you? Or like get a snippet on what you're up to in Europe and when you're coming back or anything like that?
So the best way would be to go onto my website, www.lotuserotica.com.au. You can sign up to my mailing list. You can get a free kink checklist to discover what your unique kinks are. You can use it, take it, adapt it, make the wisdom yours. I give it to you. It also signs you up to my mailing list So therefore you can stay updated with events and happenings and my coaching, mentoring. We can do stuff online. I do like dominatrix and like sex work sessions online as well. Otherwise, Instagram, Twitter, Lotus_Erotica.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think I should have you back on when you come back from Europe in 5 years.
In 5 years.
We'll understand what the progression has been like.
It's going to be, there's a lot that's going to change in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
You may be in a movie.
I hope so. I want to be on TV. So my goal is I want to be the most famous dominatrix in Australia.
Right.
And yeah, I want to be on TV. That's what I'm setting up the foundation for, which is why I need to have really solid foundations, like not having addictions and being unfuckwithable, basically, because shit's going to get really fucking hard, especially when there's more people that know who you are. And I already feel that just from the current pressures within just, being a tiny little person running, small events in the cities,
Tantric temples.
Tantric temples, exactly.
What do you mean though? Like what type of pressures?
As in, I guess like expectations and judgments
on how to like live your life or like do
because
what you do.
Because I'm a sex worker, and it's like I know that there's going to be backlash from different industries. Like there's especially like the Christian churches and people that are going to be like, you've got the fucking devil inside of you. Like I've already had people in my life tell me these things, So there's very polarizing views because it is a very polarizing industry and it is working with the darkness. It is working with the taboo, the things that have been shamed and hidden away because sexuality is taboo. Kink is even more taboo. So it is going to require a little bit of formidable strength to really step in and claim my mistress self, this persona, this extension of who I actually am, and use that energy to carry me forward because I can feel that there's big things to come through this work, and it's going to be a lot to hold that and keep that, But yeah, that's kind of, I hope, does that make sense in terms of the pressures?
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I think, the explanation there about the expectations and the taboo-ness of, sexuality and then even more so.
It's tough. Like even my Instagram, like they banned my my entire account and then I was like, okay, what do I go from here? You request a review and then it was just coming up with a picture of my account rather than specific posts. But then yesterday they had like 11 different posts. So I was like, great, I just go and archive all of them and then I start again. Yeah. And then I can be, recommended to non-followers because if that is not on, my engagement drops probably by like 90%.
Yeah.
Which is wild. And like I get so many clients and like, I get my message out there through social media because those are the platforms that people use.
Yeah.
So
it's fucking shit.
It's a fucking dance.
It is a dance.
Yeah.
But you may find in Europe they don't use a lot of Instagram.
What do they use?
They use Twitter and X. Oh,
Twitter.
And,
I'm on X. I'm building it.
Yeah. So it's more Instagram is very Australian.
And American?
Yeah, and American. I mean, they've got
and TikTok.
100 times more the population. But here it's very much, which is why I think it's so heavily restrictive on what you can and can't do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely in Europe there'll be like other avenues and things like that. I'll talk to you when we stop recording about the whole devil thing, but yeah. That's
Stay tuned for the uncut version.
Let's be clear, there is no uncut version. No. You basically get what we're recording. Maybe I should do an uncut version. I don't know.
It's like more unhinged. No.
More unhinged. amazing. I'll have all your details
Thank
come up so
you.
people can follow you and whatever. And yeah, follow what's happening with you in the next 12 months.
Amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you for having me. This has been so fun.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for listening in. Catch you guys all on the next one. See ya.